Quick, before I jump into each element of Jim Rohn's philosophy, it's important to touch on the power of imagination. Imagination is super important when diving into any personal development, because we need to be able to step outside of our comfort zone to visualize a future that's different than what we're currently living in right now. The power of imagination is what can take us from an idea to actually creating objectives and visualizing the path to the desired outcome. Imagination is responsible for things such as launching us into space, completing huge advancements in technology, as well as in the creative field of envisioning huge major productions. Imagination is the creative process in which we manifest our reality and we progress to a better future. I mean, think back only 10 to 20 years ago, before the internet and any of this technology was around us. It was a super different world that we lived in, and the imagination has the power to shape our world. It also gives us the ability to have faith that we can complete any task that we set out to achieve, and without belief, there's no point in doing anything at all. If you don't believe it's going to be done, then why do it? So that's the first point of just going into this, is just pondering on the idea of imagination and creativity and having an open mind as we go through this. Element number 1 from Jim Rohn's philosophy is facing your fears. This is super important because when you begin to step out of your comfort zone, you're immediately going to feel fear. Our psychology and our mind is going to strive to keep us where we're at, but in order to create new habits and things like that, you're going to experience fear, discomfort, depression, anxiety, and all that stuff will come to you, especially when you're making rapid change. And so it's important to reframe it, recognize that it's just a signal that you're growing rather than a signal that you shouldn't be doing what you're doing, and progress and keep moving forward on to the next step. Super important, because you're going to feel this right in the beginning. Element number 2 of Jim Rohn's life philosophy is use your willpower. Willpower is how we make the decision to change. It's how we initially say that I'm not going to live the next 5 years like I lived my past 5 years. It's how you make the decision to begin to start the trek through fear and into change. And so it's really important to use our willpower. It's the decision point. It's where we say enough is enough. I'm going to change. I'm not living like this anymore. Willpower often has to be executed when you're at your lowest moments, when you feel like you're depressed and you're never going to make it out of the comfort zone, and you're never going to achieve the things that you set out to do. That's when you have to exercise your willpower, make the decision, commit to it, and then go into action. Element number 3 of Jim Rohn's philosophy is to own up to your mistakes. If we take responsibility for what we've done wrong in the past, if we actually look at it, and instead of deflecting onto excuses or other people in our lives or circumstances, take accountability, try to realize where you went wrong and the mistakes that you made, and take responsibility for it, because that's how you truly identify the starting point to come from, is where you're at. We can't establish where we're going to go without establishing where we're at, and that takes accountability. That takes looking at yourself closely and seeing what could be improved. We can't fear looking at ourselves in the mirror. We have to go straight into it and take accountability, and this helps with the relationships. Sometimes all it takes is an apology for how you acted to completely eradicate maybe a difficult circumstance with your partner. This helps even in business. If you're in a tough situation, it's better to say, hey, you know what, I understand, I'm hearing you, and I'm taking accountability for my actions. This is how we're going to move forward from here. Accountability is always the starting point to action that will truly move the needle in your life. Element number 4 is to refine your objectives and set your goals. So it starts with willpower to make the commitment to change. It takes accountability to understand where you're at. And then you set a vision. You set the bigger vision of what you want, and you identify the gap between where you are now and where you want to be. And then the steps become clear. The more that you take one step at a time, the more situations are going to open up for you. The opportunities are going to open up, and It's kind of the deal where the path comes up to meet your feet as you walk. It's important to just keep striving forward, take one step at a time, make sure that you're super clear on your goals and your vision, and the rest will handle itself. The human mind has an extraordinary way of putting the puzzle pieces together once it has an objective in mind. Element number 5 in Jim Rohn's philosophy is believing and having faith in yourself. Because you must truly believe that you can actually get your goals done, or else what's the point? If you don't believe that it's going to be done, if you don't believe that you can actually do it, there's no point in really trying to start doing it, because your mind's just going to battle with you every step of the way. And so it's important to have a core belief in yourself, understand and look around at what is possible. Look at what has happened in the past and people who have came from nothing and done something, and understand that it is possible. They weren't extraordinarily different than you. At the core, they have the same amount of hours in a day that you do. And it's important to look at the other things that have happened in the world in order to reinforce your own faith in the possibilities that are out there, because the possibilities are endless. You just need to keep your mind focused, keep faith in yourself, step forward. And a lot of people don't give themselves enough credit. If you look back on things that you've accomplished and things that you've done in your life, you might not give yourself enough credit. Things are hard, life is hard. Even getting through the smallest of things, you did it and you were there and you overcame those challenges. Learn to love yourself and understand that anything is possible once we start to chip away at it and take one step at a time. Element number 6 is requesting and making use of wisdom. It's seeking out the right answers. It's being humble enough to listen to the opinions of others in an objective way, to where you're not instantly resisting what they have to say and throwing it out the door. You need to have an open mind, understand that there's a lot of people who have gone through what you've been through, and you must seek out wisdom. It's just like this channel. It's like things to keep your thought on track. It's like the books we read, the information we consume, and the people who are around us. These all play a major role in keeping our mind on track. It can change the way that we feel about our lives. It can change the way we physically feel throughout the day. And it's just super important to chase wisdom. And instead of wishing it was easier, wish you were better. Wish for wisdom rather than knowledge. Wish for wisdom rather than just information. Wisdom means being open and having a humble mind. Element number 7 is putting your profits to work. Profits essentially are better than wages. Wages are related to your time, and there's nothing wrong with working and trading time for money. I'm not saying that, but when you're trading time for money, you're always tied to that time. And there's eventually a ceiling that you hit where you can't possibly work more hours in the day to make more money. It's like people who do online courses. Once they put in the work once, they have customers that continue to come in and buy, and they don't have to be around for that. They don't have to put their active time into it. It's okay to be trading your time for money if you're content, but be open-minded to ways you can use profit to leverage your time where you don't have to be actively present in order to make the exchange of money. Element number 8 is finding your purpose in life. You want to find a place where you can serve with your God-given talents, and it's super important to be aligned with that, or else you risk going into burnout phases and losing motivation in life. And so it's important that we tap into our God-given talents in order to align with our natural biological wiring of our mind that tells us we need to contribute. And that is the path to happiness, is finding out a way to contribute and then staying consistent on how often you contribute to others and the world around you. And it also plays into legacy and will make you feel more comfortable when it comes your time to leave this world. You can look back and say that you served to the best of your ability, and it'll make things so much easier in the end looking back on your life. Element number 9 is expect honesty from yourself. You want to strive always to become someone that you can count on, not only that others can count on you, but you can count on yourself. And how you do this is by setting commitments and then executing on those commitments in the time given and building the confidence that you can actually get the tasks that you set out to do done. You don't want to set super huge expectations in the beginning. You want things that are going to be realistic for you to get done, but one thing per day to commit to and execute to will reaffirm that you can count on yourself to actually get things done, and this will supercharge your faith in yourself and your belief in your capabilities. Element number 10 is execute your disciplines. Disciplines are the small steps that if we do them one step at a time, we continue to create a new reality for ourselves. And disciplines don't feel natural in the beginning. They're going to feel uncomfortable to do. They might be some things that you don't even want to do, but you know that you have to just keep committing to them because they're the small building blocks that make the entire structure of our lives. And so it's super important to stay disciplined, face it head on, and just continue to push. And this also will relay and reinforce your confidence and your faith in yourself as well. And these are the small actions that make the difference. Element number 11 is to defend what is right. A lot of the times the answers that we're seeking exist within us. If we take the time to truly ponder and look at our life from the outside looking in, we will identify the things that are right and wrong in our lives. And it's important to stick behind that. When you get a feeling and your intuition is telling you the right answer and the elements of your life that are possibly holding you back, believe that voice, because oftentimes it's true. We have the ability to consciously be aware of the things that are holding us back. And so it's important to identify what is right and then stick behind what is right no matter what. And that concludes the time we have today. I hope you guys subscribe if you like this content. It helps the channel and it helps spread out this message to more and more people. I really appreciate you guys for coming by. I just wanted to get together that defined list of all the elements that I've compiled from Jim Rohn's teaching in the past and get it all into one concise video for you guys. Thank you so much for coming by. I'll see you later.